And so, speaking of travel, traveling in New York City is the worst. I mean, in Manhattan, I'm talking about. It's the absolute worst. I was born and raised in Long Island. I'm a New Yorker. Okay, I have a strong connection to all the boroughs except for Manhattan. I can't stand Manhattan. I can't stand everything about it. The pretentious nature, the subway, just everything that has to do with Manhattan. I cannot stand. And we'll start with the subway. It's just hot and filthy. The last couple of years, no shocker. It's just been a disaster in there. I mean, people are getting stabbed and shit. But the worst part about it is, unless you're like an everyday subway goer, there's no way you can confidently like maneuver around in the subway because they're changing platforms without telling anyone, right? I have to take the one train. The platform it's usually on, it's not going there, but then it's a detour to the 3 platform. How am I supposed to know this shit? Then you gotta like ask the cop in the station, like you're a 5-year-old, sir, where do I go? Like, it's just embarrassing, right? So you got the subway that with that shit. Every time I poke my head out of a subway, I'm just lost again when I'm like back on the streets. I'm like always making the wrong turn. If God forbid you're in a rush and you got to make like a Long Island Railroad train or like a Metro North train and you're cutting it close, I always make the wrong turn. If I got to go right, I make the left. I go down a block and then I realize that the blocks are going up. I mean, it's a disaster. I'm also not like a directions guy, but like still, it's just always amazing there. And then, like I said, the people. I mean, let me give you an example, okay? Me and my friends went to a nice dinner at Catch for one of my buddies' birthdays, okay? Now, I love a nice restaurant. I love going out to dinner, enjoying myself. And luckily for me, there are phenomenal restaurants in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, and obviously on Long Island as well. But so many times in Manhattan, I have the worst experiences either out to eat or at clubs or whatever the case, okay? So we're out to eat at Catch, and dinner was great. I mean, it was a good dinner. Food was phenomenal. I can't be salty about that. It was very good. But we noticed that behind us was like a table of like 12 people. 10 girls, they were all pretty attractive, and like 2 guys. One of them looked like a normal dude, and the other guy looked like some type of like European model. He was like 6'3", handlebar mustache. He was wearing a biker jacket, but like you could tell salt and pepper hair. He was like probably like in his 40s as a model. And so they're eating dinner at Catch behind us. Again, it's a table of 12, 10 girls, all hot, and then these 2 guys minding their own business, nothing crazy. And then as these people are getting up to leave, all the girls get up and leave. And now, not the model, the regular guy. This guy is probably like 5'9", not a good looking dude. Has the balls, this guy, out of shape, like a slightly overweight, has the balls to turn to my table, which is a table of 5 guys, all in their like mid-20s. He turns to us, looks back at the girls who are leaving, looks back at us and says, "Now this, boys, this is how it's done." And then goes like this with his hands. And I didn't even think I heard him correctly at first because I was just in such shock. I was like, these are the type of people who roam the streets of Manhattan. This guy just took these girls out. He's probably on his father's dime. He's like 36. He's still paying for things with his parents' money. And he's with some model guy, and they maneuver and they figure out a way to get 10 model girls to their table. And great, listen, you made it. You did your thing where no matter how you finessed your way into doing this, you did sit down at a table with 10 attractive girls and you're having dinner and you're the center of attention. Great, good for you. The issue is, who gives a fuck, bro? Like you gotta like rub this in other people's faces. And like when you say that, I know everything I need to know about you. You're a fucking loser. You're a boner, bro. Like this is the first time you've ever done that. If you're getting up from a table of 10 girls and you're going to people, this is how it's done, that's the first time you've ever done that. So that guy embarrassed himself, but it also just told me everything I need to know about Manhattan. You go to the gyms there and it's just a joke. No one knows what the fuck they're doing, and they're just like all like pretentious. Another quick incident we had. So we went to a club after the dinner, and the way the bathroom at the club worked is it was genderless bathrooms, I guess you'd say. And so there's a guy whose job is to basically direct people on which stall, floor to ceiling, to go to the bathroom in. So this girl who's in front of me is direction to where to go. So now as she goes, I'm not paying attention. The music's loud. And then I notice, like, I hear yelling. And this girl is at that stall without opening it because it's locked, I guess. And she's yelling at the guy. This poor guy, his job is to direct people on where to take a piss for a living. This girl is yelling at him, going, "It's not open, man. It's not open, man. What the fuck?" Like literally yelling at him. Like this spoiled brat is just yelling at this dude because he pointed to the wrong stall for her to take a piss in or do coke in. this is what I'm talking about. So, I mean, Manhattan, it's just filled and littered with so many of these people. And I wish I felt differently because I have been there so many times. But because I have such a strong sample size, it's just such an ingrained view in my head. I mean, it's so many people who are not from New York, who moved to New York in their 20s and think that they're like special and like are models now because they work a regular job but go to brunch on the weekends, and people paying 3/4 of their rent to just live there when they can live in a suburb or in like Jersey City for like half the price. It's just ridiculous. Also, so I work in Jersey City actually, but I work remote mostly. But when I have to go into the office, I sometimes drive in. I sometimes take the path. I take Long Island Railroad to the path, Long Island Railroad to Penn Station, and then Penn Station path to Jersey City. And so I don't know what it is, if it's just like the last couple times I've been in the area, but these fucking turnstiles and these kiosks don't work. So I'll try to buy a Metro card for a one path ride, like the path ticket. And every time I use the kiosk, it says my card doesn't work, and it's multiple cards, it's cash, none of it ever works, and I'm usually in a rush. So every time I do this, I wind up in front of cops just hopping the turnstile and just like getting onto the path. Because whether it's, again, me having trouble because it just won't read any credit card, or the person in front of me just being inept and taking 45 minutes, or the person in front of me having the same problem that I would have where it just doesn't read their card, it's insane. So like I went to the office like twice in the last 2 weeks, and so that's 4 trips to and from the path. All 4 times, my credit cards either were not read, the kiosk didn't take cash, or or just something didn't work, or someone was taking too long, and I had to make the train, and I just literally like just hopped the turnstile. So I have such a bad taste in my mouth about just commuting to the city and the whole like smog. Everything smells hot. Like, it's not like that in any other borough, really. It's just not. So it's just very, very frustrating. If it's bad weather, right? I mean, when it's nice in the city, everyone wants to leave it. But that's the weird thing. It's like when it's nice in the city, everyone wants to leave the city. They want to be in the Hamptons. But when it's shitty, there's nowhere else to go. So you're in the city. So it's just like this hellscape that I can't stand. Hey guys, you know the deal. It's Johnny Action here. I want to thank you for watching the podcast. If you could, like the video, hit me with a comment. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thanks for watching.